everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. I'm Stephen Cabral, board-certified naturopathic doctor, and we are getting started with today's Friday review. We've got a lot of great topics to cover today, but I really want to get started right away with this first one. This news excited me when I read it just about a month or so ago. Had to look into it a little bit more in depth to make sure this is something that I should share with our community. And when I did, I was not shocked at all. The only shocking thing to me is why that this doesn't make headline news. There is a disease, we'll call it, dis-ease, that affects about 212 million people worldwide. 212 million people, with about 500,000 people at least dying from it every year, and that is malaria. And keep in mind that malaria, again, you could be traveling to other countries around the world, wherever it might be, that usually you're put on a harsh dosage of pharmaceutical drugs to make sure that you don't get malaria. But right now, what we're finding is that people are becoming, or I should say, malaria inside the body is becoming resistant to these drugs. And the treatment typically, if you do get malaria, is something called artemisinin-based combination therapy. And this is, again, typically used worldwide. The issue, though, is that a lot of times the drug isn't available when needed, or, again, it's becoming malaria resistant to this ACT therapy. So what happened, and again, we've known this for quite a while, that there's a specific plant. It's called Artemisia annua. So this has been known, obviously, since the beginning that man started to use plant-based medicine, because it's talked about in Amazon-based jungle work. It's talked about in Kerala, in the Ayurvedic scripts. It's talked about worldwide. Traditional Chinese medicine uses it as well. And so this specific plant, and yes, it takes a little while to cultivate, but it grows, believe it or not, in areas where malaria would be highest in the first place. Because again, somehow nature always knows best. Do we know why? Do we know how? No, these are mysteries. But we do know that a lot of the times where something pops up in that indigenous location, there's also a cure for it as well, as long as we just don't turn it into parking lots. I mean, that's kind of the whole point, that we don't lose all of this great plant-based medicine. Well, here's what happened. In the Congo, and I believe this wasn't too long ago, I want to say it was actually 2017, I know that the publication, so the source is Worcester Polytechnic Institute, and this was actually published April 24th, 2017. So please do feel free to check on it if you are a health coach looking for these specific data points. But WPI, Worcester Polytechnic Institute, spoke about how there was 18 critically ill patients. They all had malaria. They were all different ages as well. That's what I always look at as well. Okay, well, was this a specific age group? Who was this? But it's 14 months old. So basically a baby, a child, a toddler, to 60 years old. So all ages in between. And the 14-month-old was actually in a coma. All 18 patients. Now, again, the doctors had to make this call because this is not typical treatment. So they're on the line. But they're using something called the compassionate use doctrine. And it allows them, if needed in life-saving situations, because the drugs weren't working. Okay, the drugs were not working. They had to turn elsewhere. They were in the Congo. They know about the people who live there, the native people, what they may use, and it's a specific plant. Okay, it's called Artemisia annua, and they used it. All 18 patients got well again. I know it's only one study, but this is legitimate. 100% cure rate for all of these 18 people when they were drug resistant. The malaria was drug resistant. They couldn't get better. Remarkable. And that's why you have to understand is that there's always an answer. There's typically always an herb, a vitamin, a nutraceutical, not a pharmaceutical, that's going to help you out. Now, if you're in a life-saving situation, should you use a pharmaceutical drug? Sure. You should use whatever you need to make sure that you don't die, right? I mean, this is serious. I've spoken about this before. I'm as integrative as you can get, but you'll never really hear me recommend a pharmaceutical drug. And why is that? Well, if I'm integrative, why wouldn't I recommend pharmaceuticals? Because there's always a side effect. There's always a side effect that could most likely be mitigated by a natural treatment. However, if you're having a stroke, if you're having a heart attack, if you're having any one of these things, go to your emergency room. Call the ambulance. I believe in all of those things, but what I'm saying is this. nature usually holds a better possibility of improvement if we know about it in the first place. And that's what I'm trying to share with you on the Cabral concept. So right now we know that this whole leaf, and that's very important too, because they've done studies. Actually, I knew about this in 2013 because the University of Massachusetts, which again isn't too far away from where I am, was conducting a study on the Artemisia-based plant on rodents. And they found that it worked far better than the drug. I mean, surprise, surprise. But what they needed was they were looking at different extracts. That's why when you'll see this in the future, no doubt about it, drug companies will try to refute this, and you'll see them show a study, and they'll publish a study. But here's what you need to look at. Is that study using the whole plant or not? Or are they just using an extract? Because if they're using an extract, that's why it's not working, right? Because right now the studies are working using whole leaf Artemisia annua. The whole leaf ground up, put into tablets, or in the case of a coma, maybe right directly into an IV. That's what we need to look at. Pharmaceutical companies are going to try to patent this, okay? They're going to try to use some type of extract, and it may not work that well. Maybe it'll work great, and that's great. But what we want right now, you have malaria, you're getting malaria, well, they're recommending taking this specific tea if you're in a malaria-based country, like just as a preventative. And then if you do get malaria, you can certainly use the whole leaf version. So I could not wait to bring that to you. Not only is it great for obviously 212 million people worldwide who contract malaria, but it's important for us to know from a philosophical level that there's an answer. There is an answer, and it lies with natural medicine. Okay, so now that we got through that serious topic, I want to lighten the mood a little bit and share with you one of my family's favorite acai bowl recipes. So if you don't know what an acai bowl is, it's basically a smoothie bowl using the acai berry. The acai berry spelled A-C-A-I, a lot of different pronunciations, but phonetically, I shouldn't say phonetically, how it is actually spoken or pronounced is acai, so the I just becomes a softer E-based sound. So those specific bowls are absolutely delicious and, like we say, nutritious as well, because you can add a lot of great things to them. So we'll use these all the time for my girls for maybe even a healthy breakfast during the summertime. It could be a healthy lunch, or we use it as a snack as well. And we say use it, I mean, you like consume it, have fun with it. This is kind of like ice cream to them. We make fruit sorbets that we call ice cream, all these healthy things that are dairy free. So how I make it for myself, because I love them. I really fell in love with acai bowls when I went to Hawaii a bunch of years back. And I love Hawaii. It's one of my favorite places in the world. And I'll tell you right now, so I live in Boston. No place makes an acai bowl like I've ever seen in Hawaii. I mean, I've been to California. I've traveled all over the world. They do a phenomenal job. It's like an art form over there. They do layers. So they do like acai bowl, and then they do some granola, and they put more on there, and they'll slice fruit. It's unbelievable. I'm going to see if I can link up some of my photos. Love to be able to do that. So just go to StephenCabral.com/553 today. And hopefully I'll get some great photos from when I was in Hawaii with these. And I can't do them justice, but like I said, it's an art form over there. What I want to do is I want to share with you a very simple one, because there are great ones that you can make without even the acai packets that I'm going to share with you now that use mango and papaya. And those are fantastic as well. Those are some of my favorite too. But what I want to share with you today is a really simple one that you can really, I think anyone can make this. It does work best in a Vitamix or a Blend Tech, but you can use a Ninja or any of these things as long as you have a plunger. You need that little plastic thing that you kind of squish on the top, or a food processor. That would work as well. But it's honestly really simple. What are these things? Well, it's basically like a smoothie that you eat with a spoon. And you put some delicious toppings on it. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So very, very simple. What do you need? Well, the main difference between this and a smoothie is you use very little liquid. Okay? And you're also using a frozen acai packet or the powder. Now, you can use the powder totally fine as well. I'll link this up on the show notes too. I've talked about this before, but I believe it's Nutiva, and definitely the company that has the acai packets, which we use, are Sambazon. So I'll link that today in the show notes. So what you do is you get one packet, and this is what I do, so I'm going to give you my specific recipe, one packet of the acai frozen packet. And what I do is I snap that in half before I put it into the blender. So I add that into the blender, and then I'm going to add in 1 cup of frozen fruit. Okay, so I'm going to put in a half a cup to 1 cup of frozen fruit. For me, I do 1 cup. I like a little bit more of the berries. because there's so much great antioxidants and nutrition in those berries. So what berries am I using? I'm using usually a mixed berry. So it has strawberries, blackberries, and blueberries, sometimes raspberries as well. Okay, any combination of those work fantastic. You can use any type of berries that you like. They're low glycemic and they mix up really well, and they mix great with the acai packet as well. So the acai packet is simply acai berry that's been juiced and frozen. That's really it. And that's because nobody eats the whole acai berry. Very, very bitter berry. But now when you mix that with some more of the sweet berries, taste delicious, especially the strawberries as well. So I'll just add that little tip there. The next thing is you need to add something to help with consistency so that it's just not this frozen slush. So I use banana, and you can use a frozen banana or fresh banana. Again, we use typically everything frozen. It makes for a better ice cream-like consistency. So we'll add in a half to one full frozen banana. Again, usually one full one. We're splitting this with 2 people usually. Okay. So for people who want to cut down on the use of fruit, they could use an avocado, and that would be totally fine for consistency as well. All right, the next thing we want to do is add liquid. Now, this is where the art form of the acai bowl comes in. You always want to add less liquid at first, as little liquid as possible. And the liquid that I use is just straight water, or I'll use some coconut water. Now, you could use almond milk or coconut milk, and that works perfectly fine. Any of your favorite dairy-free nut milks will work great. So now you have a blender full of all of this frozen stuff, and you have a tiny bit of water. So how do you get it to work? Well, you turn your Vitamix on low to start, or your Blendtec, or again, your Ninja, or whatever you're using right now. And you open up the top of it. So it comes with like a rubbery lid, and it fits in a plastic plunger tool. I'll link that up in the show notes today as well. Now, when you're using the plunger, you can basically smash the frozen fruit into the blades, and nothing will happen to the plunger. And this allows it to all blend together. So it's making this kind of like horrific noise, but it's blending up this really beautiful, delicious, and really nutritious acai bowl that you can use post-workout if you're worried about the fruit. You can use it for breakfast when you have maybe lower blood sugar levels. You can use it as a snack for kids. And if you want to make it a complete meal, what a lot of people do, and we'll do it for my kids as well, I'll do it for myself, is you can just add in the daily nutritional support powder. For kids, you'll just use a half a scoop. For adults, you use 2 scoops. For teenagers, you will use 1 scoop. Again, it's just based on weight. If you weigh around 30 to 50 pounds, you can just use a half a scoop. 50 to 100 pounds, you can use 1 scoop. And then over that for adults, you have to get in your full nutritional serving. You can do 2 scoops. Totally fine with you. However much you want to use, that will add the protein to it. That will add all of your vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. That's absolutely just a add-on that you can put in there. And again, if you want to make this a superfood, feel free. Add some maca powder. Add whatever you like. Have some fun with it. Add some cordyceps. Add some ashwagandha. Whatever you'd like to it. But it will change the taste if you add in those root-based, those herbal-based things. Now, here's the fun part as well. When you're making your acai bowl, is you can pour half into a cup or a bowl, and then you can put half a layer of granola, and you could be gluten-free granola, you could make it paleo granola, whatever you would like. Some fresh fruit slices. The fresh fruit slices could be kiwi. That's one of my absolute favorites. It could be sliced banana. And then fill it all the way up again and fill it up to the top. Then that again is another layer of granola. A lot of people do dried goji berries. They do sunflower seeds. They could just do crushed walnuts or macadamia. They can do coconut flakes. They can do sliced banana, sliced strawberry, sliced kiwi. Those are all some of my favorites. And that's how I make it. Honestly, it's dessert. If you try this, you will not say, oh, well, I can't wait to have ice cream or any of these things. This replaces it. Absolutely delicious. Kind of the barometers we give it to my parents as well, who are, again, we all grew up this way, ice cream, all of those things. They can't believe that it's healthy for them. And they came last year to visit us in Hawaii when we went away last winter from this cold New England weather. That's at the time that I was finishing up my book, writing it, and they couldn't believe it. They love the acai bowls, and it's such a healthy thing. I mean, that's just packed full of antioxidants. So can't recommend that enough. Again, I will list this as a PDF today, so you can get it completely free. Just go to StephenCabral.com/553. No options or anything like that. Just click on the page. You'll see everything that we do recommend. And last but not least today, this is really just more of one of those consumer warnings or consumer alerts. So everyone asks me their CBD oil questions, and I think it's great because I'm happy to answer those for you. People know that I speak the truth. People know that I never put products or sales or anything like that above the truth because it's me. This is who I am. This is, what I want to make sure people know when they come to the Cabral concept. This is not about marketing. This is not about anything else. This is about putting our community first. And people are getting duped right now, especially on Amazon, especially in places where you can buy CBD oil, very cheap quality. And what they're being marketed to is the amount of grams or milligrams of hemp oil versus CBD oil. So I never want to put a company down, and so I'm not going to do that today, but I want to teach you how to read labels. Basically, bottom line, very simple to do. But there's a huge difference. Meaning, people try CBD oil all the time. They say, I didn't feel anything, didn't feel a difference. Well, there's a couple reasons for that. One is they weren't using a high enough dosage of the CBD oil because it's person dependent. Meaning, like, they have studies right now, 600 milligrams I've seen. Typically, online, the dosage that they're giving you is 5 milligrams. Now, think about this. 5 milligrams? Versus 600 milligrams. It's night and day, like not even close. Now, I'm not recommending 600 milligrams to anyone, especially not before trying 25 milligrams first. But here's the deal. I just want to teach you how to read the label today so that you look at it. Okay. Hemp oil, or it might say something like cannabis oil or any type of oil, okay? That will be a much higher number. So in the case of our Equilibrium-based brand, it will say 450 milligrams of hemp oil. Now, if I was a marketer, I would say 450 milligrams of active hemp oil. And you'd say, whoa, that's enormous because I know that I'm only supposed to take maybe 25 milligrams. So this is a lot per serving. Well, it's not actually true. You have to look on the back of that label and you see where does it say cannabinol or cannabidiol or CBD. That's what you need to look at. And you'll see that most brands have 5 milligrams. Okay, so they might have 500 milligrams of hemp oil, 1,000 milligrams of hemp oil, but they might have 5 to 10 milligrams of CBDs or cannabinols or cannabidiol. Again, same thing, just look for CBD. That's what matters. The only part that's going to give you the non-psychoactive, so again, this is not THC, this is not marijuana, this is not any of those things, it's CBD. It gives you the health benefits. Over 962 clinical published studies on CBD oil, helping everything from anxiety to cancer to autoimmune to digestive. Go back. I'll link it up in today's show notes because we put them all on one page. So just, again, go to stephencabral.com/553, and I will link up the CBD oil page. You can listen to the previous podcasts on that, how it's an anti-anxiolytic. It helps with depression, epilepsy, all of these things, but you need the right dosage. So if you're using 5 to 10 milligrams, of course, you're not going to get a lot of the benefit. The benefit comes usually with 25 or 20 milligrams or more. Now, if you look in the back, you say, well, I can get my CBD oil for $36. And I say, I don't disagree. But look in the back, and it will say 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams per serving, and then they give you 30 servings. So when you look at that total, well, what are you getting? Well, if you do the math on that, you're not even getting a week's supply if you really use the 20 to 25 milligrams. So if you have to multiply that by 5, well, $36 times 5, now I made really hard math for myself, that's somewhere around $180, right? So now when you see a product that's $89, you can say, oh, well, that's why. It's a better quality product. It's not done by a marketer. It's not by any of these things, just high quality product. Just the other thing, make sure that you're getting organic. There's a lot of people right now that are willing to sell you synthetic. There's a lot of people that are willing to sell you an inferior product that has pesticides. All I want you to do, keep yourself safe, keep your family safe, look for organic, look for CO2 extraction-based methods, look for cold processed, and just make sure that it's made in the USA and it's made on an organic farm. That's it. And then look at the labels. Again, hemp oil is not the same as CBD oil. CBD oil is the only thing that matters, the only thing that counts, and you want to look for somewhere around 20 milligrams or more per serving. So hopefully that helped today. Really love these Friday reviews. I love bringing you research. I love bringing you books. I love bringing you products that I use. And honestly, a lot of the time, I have no idea what I'm going to bring you until that week because I'm like, this is what I need to talk about. Just like the anti-malaria-based medication today that's all natural. Had to talk about that today. This just came up. Someone just asked it on a Cabral host call question. And I said, you know what? I need to bring this up as well. I'm getting this question too many times. I need to make this public. And again, with acai bowls, it's what I love doing. Like my family just ate these every day for the last 3 days when we were in Maine. So I'm like, how do I not talk about this? I need to share what I'm doing with my own kids, what I'm doing with my own family, and how much benefit we're getting from it because it's delicious and we don't need to eat ice cream all day. So hopefully this helped. Feel free to pass it along to anyone you believe it could serve. And I will talk with you tomorrow, starting with our first Cabral House Call of the weekend, where I answer all of our community's questions. You have to check those out if you haven't already. Remember, it might not be about you, but it might be for someone that you know and love, and you can share that information with them. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend. Thank you for just tuning into the Cabral Concept. It's hard to believe, but it's already the month of August. This means that the summer will soon be over and we'll be getting back into our fall routine, which for the most of us means cleaning up our nutrition and getting back into a healthy regimen. This is why during the month of August 2017, I want to offer you a free bottle of my daily probiotic support with any 21-day Dr. Cabral Detox package. This means you'll get all the wellness benefits associated by doing the Dr. Cabral Detox, and if you're looking to lose weight, you can lose up to 15 pounds in just 21 days. Plus, I'm going to send you out the 60-capsule bottle of my dairy-free, low-histamine 50 billion CFU daily probiotic support. This is the exact same one I use every day as part of my Dr. Cabral daily protocol. I feel so strongly that the 21-day Dr. Cabral Detox is the first place most people should start that I'm offering $30 off the retail price and another $39.95 in savings with the daily probiotic support bonus offer. This is an almost $70 in savings for the highest quality, non-GMO, third-party tested functional medicine nutritional supplements on the market. To take advantage of this limited time offer, simply go to stephencabral.com/store for details.